Hello.
Hello, and welcome to the show. Ann Harder here with you in Salado, Texas, with Kay Griffith of Kay Griffith Art. And I am happy to be on location today because we're going to talk art with this abstract expressionist expert. You are globally known, really, for your art. But here in this beautiful home, there are 18 works of art that you've created, and we're going to look at some of these.
Yes, and they're part of the staging for this house is on the market with Sotheby's. And so I was asked if I would put some pieces in here as part of the staging, and I'm very fortunate to have them in here. So
Well,
thank you.
Let's walk into this room right here and take a look at, because I see a couple of pieces of art on the wall right now.
Yeah, each of my paintings is unique unto itself. Each one has its own color palette and its own set of rhythms. I paint wet into wet with these with a palette knife. So there are no changes or corrections on any of these pieces. It's one and done. I don't have any music on when I'm painting this type of work. I'm paying attention to the rhythm in my head, but I have to know color well enough that I know what it's going to mix to become on the canvas. So this is a 60 by 48, and you'll see it's more.
There's movement to it, no question.
Yes. So each one has its own color palette, but its own set of rhythms.
Okay.
And what you're going to find with one of these in your home is that over time people see different things because the impasto throws shadows. I'm not using a dryer or an extender. They take 1 to 3 years to dry. But the shadows throw a little bit of a shadow, or the impasto throws a little bit of a shadow.
Now, what is it? What is this word you're saying?
Impasto. That's the thick paint. That's 100.
Obviously there's a relief to it. Yeah.
Right. There's 100% professional grade oil paint there. So as it throws a little bit of a shadow, it allows you to see different things. And I'm not artificially hiding anything in them.
So how did you learn this technique?
I think I was born with it. I'll explain that.
You were born with it. Okay, well, I love that. We got to hear more about that.
I think I was born to be an abstract expressionist, but I'll explain that a little bit later.
Yeah.
In this piece, you'll see there's an upward movement. I mean, it's...
Well, it's almost like wings. I almost see wings in it, but...
Yeah, a lot of people will see butterfly wings or like angelic wings.
More angelic wing is the one I'm thinking, or a bird wing. But yeah, you clearly see the relief of the paint itself.
Yeah, and keep in mind, and that's gold leaf.
Yeah, I don't want to touch it, so I'll let you touch it if you're going to.
And this is all done wet into wet, so you can see the difficulty involved.
So beautiful.
This is the Sonos Arc Ultra, and this is what you need to know about. It represents one of the easiest ways to get into high quality home cinema without loads of cables and faffing around. And that's because the Arc Ultra provides full Dolby Atmos without any rear speakers thanks to its sound motion technology. And Sonos is actually calling sound motion one of the most significant breakthroughs in audio engineering in nearly 100 years. It's an amazing setup, it sounds absolutely fantastic. I love the absence of fat. If you're a Sonos person, there's a reason you're watching this video.
And I am here today with Kay Griffith of Kay Griffith Fine Art. And it's always a joy for me, Kay, to get to talk to an artist because I can't draw a stick figure. And I'm so fascinated with the whole process behind art and what kind of makes you tick as an artist. First of all, when did you know you wanted to be an artist? This was your thing.
I'm not sure. And the reason
you said you worked on it for 26 years, but
well, that's professional artist. But when did I know? I always knew that at some point I would paint. I think I was born to be an abstract expressionist because honestly, when I was a little girl, I didn't like drawing with a pencil, and it was not the shape of anything that captivated me. It was the experience of all the colors and the natural rhythms and the light play. So I grew up outside of Abilene, spent lots of time outside. So even the almost phosphorescent mesquite leaves, as they first came out up against a cobalt blue sky, they'd twinkle and sparkle up against that cobalt sky. Well, always captivated me. Anything that experience of that convergence. So I always knew at some point I would do it. So I've been painting professionally since '96, and I started showing internationally in 2012.
And you certainly have had amazing success on the international stage. I mean, from Florence, Italy to Tokyo. I mean, you really all over the world, your art has been seen. And so how do you get to be at that level of an artist? Was there like a big break that happened at like an actress or something has their big break or whatever?
As an abstract expressionist, I knew how to paint realism, but I've never even had a workshop on how to do the abstracts. I did what I naturally do. So the truth is literally one day, an elderly gentleman walked in the gallery and was spent a lot of time with one of my abstracts. Came
Just
back
looking at it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he said, did not give me his name, did not give me any information. He just said, I'd like to look at this piece. He had stopped in Salado for lunch and just happened into the gallery. It was very serendipitous though. So a few weeks later, he came back and wanted to visit with me. And it turns out that he'd had a 60-year career as an art conservator and art appraiser. He had just gotten through redoing a Jackson Pollock and, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So he gave me his honest assessment of my work and suggested that my work needed to be in other markets besides Salado. And I asked him where, and he said, this work is as good as it gets, and it belongs on the international stage. And I said, I don't know anybody that shows internationally. How do I go about doing that? Where do I learn? Yeah. And he said, well, an opportunity will avail itself, and when it does, call me, and I will come back to Salado, and I'll help you, select the pieces to go. And sure enough, in 2012, I learned a show that was going to be held in Las Vegas. And I didn't realize how important that show was until I got there, because I was busy getting ready for the Christmas stroll in Salado.
Oh yeah, that's a big time.
Yes, I had all these other things going. So when I got there, I learned that they had only juried in 80 artists from all over the world. And so there were 79 artists there present who had incredible credentials nationally and internationally. And I was the deer in the headlights.
The unknown.
So, I was there just like a sponge, absorbing things and asking questions and researching and how about this and that. And I just was full of questions. Yeah. And over the years, there have been many people who are really experts in their aspect of art who generously shared of their knowledge. But anyway, there was an art critic there from New York City who introduced my work to somebody in New York City, who in turn asked me to submit work to be juried into a show. I did. I was juried in work that resulted in me, and the international art world runs through Miami, as well as New York and London and Paris.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
Well, and I was juried into a special show during Basel, which is one of the largest, most expensive art shows in the world. Anyway, so actually a lot happened from there. I was invited to join a group.
Well, it snowballs. It sounds like once they begin to be familiar with your work.
It went meteor. It was like a meteor.
Yeah.
And part of the reason for that, I think, was because they were seeing my work in person. It's very difficult to photograph it.
But you kind of have to do that in order to be juried, right?
Yes, you do.
You don't send a piece of art.
But like I was invited to, I was one of, 26 or 29 artists to show at the Independent Artists Association of France during Art in Capital, which is a huge deal. And when I got there, the curator told me that if he had only seen the photographs, he didn't know if I would have been invited. But he had seen my work in Miami. And so he trusted what he had seen.
Yeah.
And so that's how that transpired. So anyway, it snowballed. It was like a meteor. My work just went, and I was holding on by the skin of my fingernails because the artists have to pay all of their own shipping and their own travel expenses and so forth.
So you had some expense.
A lot of expense.
And of course, traveling internationally, suddenly, oh wow, I've got to go to Barcelona. You know?
Right, and you've got
I get to go to Barcelona. You put it that way.
There's also customs and monetary exchanges and
gosh.
time zones, and it just goes on
A
and
lot,
on and
yeah.
on and on. Yes,
A lot. So sometimes do you send your art to a showing, an exhibition, and you don't get to go?
A lot of them I don't go.
Really?
At this level, there's a lot of the shows the artist does not have to be there. They want them to be there. Most of the artists have sponsors. I do not. You know, if I'm not,
like
I'm not selling
companies
art,
or corporations,
corporations
Really?
or cities or governments or spouses or somebody, a collector, you know, some wealthy collector will sponsor this or that. So a lot of artists who show internationally have sponsors.
Interesting. Right now, I think currently you have work in Colombia. Is that correct?
I have a show that opens in a museum in Marta, Colombia, the 13th. So pretty quick.
Yeah.
There's 4 of my paintings that are in there. It's a group show. It was part of a world tour. I was one of 8 artists invited before COVID. I was one of 8 artists invited to have work on a world tour.
Yeah.
So I agreed to do that. The Columbia show was going to be the last one, and the work arrived there at the same time that there was COVID shutdown.
Oh no!
And so,
and then you're like, what?
Well, we had to
could happen to my.
Well, it was sitting on a dock.
Art.
It was on a dock.
Yeah.
In crates. So the art had to it was shipped back to Miami, and where it's been stored until it got shipped back to Columbia for this museum show.
So much involved. Well, we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, I want to learn a little bit more about the whole business behind this, and also the biases that female artists find themselves facing. So you stay with us. There's more of the show ahead. There is so much to learn and appreciate about great art. Stay with us a little later in the show. We're going to meet another Salado artist who uses wine corks to create replicas of buildings. You got to see this.
Smoke Pub was created by a group of friends who share a passion for great whiskey and cocktails. Frustrated by the lack of easy-to-use cocktail smokers, we set out to design something better. Our goal was simple: make smoking cocktails quick, clean, and fun. After countless experiments, we developed Smoke Pub, the world's first electric cocktail smoker. Join us on this exciting journey and discover the magic of Smoke Pub, where unforgettable cocktails begin.
I just got my Colgate Advanced LED Whitening Treatment in the mail, and I am very excited to have dramatically whiter teeth in just 10 days. My teeth are going to be 6 shades whiter. The treatment is enamel safe and hassle-free. It's even designed for my sensitive teeth. Let's open it up. Inside we have the blue light whitening device. It's a charger for after each treatment as well. There's a full 10-day supply, and it looks easy to apply. Order yours today at shop.colgate.com.
So, Kay, tell me about this piece here.
It's just a fun piece.
It is fun.
It's just fun and kind of like a celebration, you know, being outside.
Of course, the green makes me think of being outside, certainly, as you say, and green spaces and flowers and just the brightness that you incorporate into these works.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to know what you see or what you experience in front of the painting.
Wow.
And
the more I look,
keep
the
in
different
mind,
things I see.
And there's no right or wrong to it.
Well, sure.
Oh, and there would be if I named it. So they all have code numbers. So I'm not telling you what to think or feel. There's no right or wrong. So
Yeah.
Just experience whatever you see today, or however you experience it.
Yeah. Well, again, I'm outside. I see hummingbird. I mean, those are the kinds of things that that your strokes kind of evoke to me as I look at this piece. But the colors, are just so vibrant and beautiful. Perfect on this wall. I see why they wanted to stage this beautiful home with your artwork. And now we're on the landing, and what a beautiful one we have here. The yellows and the blues. Yeah. Tell me what you were thinking.
That was, it's what I was thinking at the time I painted it is I told you, it's superfluous. It's just, when I look at it now, it's just a happy painting. It's happy.
It is definitely.
And I think that when people purchase art, first of all, I don't think you buy a home, you buy a structure and you create a home. Family is most important. The second is the art, to create the ambiance. So you decide how you want to feel when you walk in to a room. And this painting, just for me, when I look at it, is just a happy painting. Yeah. So it would create a sense of happy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, lighthearted, joy. I mean, all those words come to mind.
Yes. So
I'm immediately drawn to this, though. I love these colors, the overall turquoise and the coolness of that, with, again, these vibrant pops of yellow and red orange. I just love this. Love this.
Thank you.
So
this is more evocative of like a garden.
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure.
Summer.
Yes, definitely, for sure. So how long does it take to paint a work like this? Just
at least 26 years of practice, and then how long it takes to put the paint on the canvas.
Okay.
Some go really, really fast, and some are very slow, because remember, I can't make any changes. If I get interrupted, it's difficult to get back into the same rhythm and the same mood of the painting and the same integrity of it. So
you need to really just keep going once you start.
Yes, on a large painting, I typically will work 18-hour days and sleep for a while and then go back at it, because I need to keep the same rhythm, the same emotion to it. The color palette, I have to know color so well I don't think about that. I'm thinking about the rhythms and what I'm saying with it, and the choreography of it, and that sort of thing. So this one didn't take terribly long, probably a couple of days. But again, there's lots of hours per day.
Sure. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. So, Kay, we are in a bathroom, in a wet space. Is it okay to hang art in a wet space?
Well, watercolors art's going to be susceptible to anything that the substrate is susceptible to. So, like, watercolors are susceptible on paper. Anything on paper is susceptible to whatever paper is susceptible to. Mm-hmm. Oil paint, you can go to museums and see oil paintings that were done 500 years ago, and they're still okay. So the big deal is you need airflow, so that it gets, and you don't want anything closing off the back so that it doesn't get mold or anything like that.
Okay.
So some frame shops will put something on the back, and that's usually just to protect it until it gets to its final location. Don't ever have something on the back,
like paper or something.
Do not do that on oil paint, because it allows mildew and mold and so forth on the back,
and then that could go through the canvas.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, I never knew that before.
Prints are susceptible to, whatever the substrate is susceptible to, then that's what you have to be careful with. But oil paint is the most durable.
Mm-hmm. And then you exclusively work?
I am an oil painter. Occasionally I'll do, very, very, very seldom, but occasionally I'll do something with ink or do something just wild, out of the ordinary. But I'm an oil painter through and through.
So we're now inside this upstairs bedroom. What a beautiful work this is.
So it has a totally different feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
The color palette's different. The strokes are different. This has more of a circular motion around the whole painting. But It's very, very different.
Yeah, and of course, again, my eye is drawn to these almost slashes of red, vibrant pop there. So beautiful. And then above the bed, kind of similar. Now that's almost kind of, I don't know, Asian looking to me.
Okay.
Were you kind of thinking that, or
No,
necessarily?
but that's fine. I'm good with it. If you see Asian,
if you see Asian,
I'm good with that.
Chinese, something from the Orient.
Let me tell you a little story. Is back many years ago when I first started showing internationally, I came under a lot of pressure to name my work and to come up with some story about some creative story. Yes, all the typical things that you hear that artists are supposed to talk about. So I bought into that briefly, and I did this painting 30 by 40, and I did it in spring greens. It was in the spring, and it just felt happy to be outside. I was stuck in my gallery, so to speak, but it was just a gorgeous day outside, and everything was blooming and all these greens, gentle breeze, perfect day to be outside. And so I wanted to imagine being out and I thought I was just really proud of myself. And I put that thing on the display easel, and I want you to know the first 3 couples that came in saw monsters.
Oh no.
They literally saw monsters.
I have not seen a monster in anything that I've seen.
They saw monsters.
Well,
and one of the gentlemen, a corporate exec, said, I've never asked this before of you or in any gallery, but I can't stay in the same room with that painting. The monster is so real in there. Would you please take it out and put it in another room? And I was like, oh, okay. So I took it and put it in another room. Fortunately, someone came along who did see a happy painting and purchased it. But that was the end of me trying to always name my work.
Right.
I want you free to see what you see.
What you see.
And that's mutual respect.
Mm-hmm.
I have this thing about mutual respect.
That's wonderful. That's great. I'm immediately drawn to this, though. I love these colors, the overall turquoise and the coolness of that, with, again, these vibrant pops of yellow and red orange. I just love this. Love this.
Thank you.
So
this is more evocative of like a garden.
Oh, for sure.
Summer.
Yes, definitely, for sure. So how long does it take to paint a work like this? Just
at least 26 years practice, and then how long it takes to put the paint on the canvas.
Okay.
Some go really, really fast, and some are very slow because remember, I can't make any changes. If I get interrupted, it's difficult to get back into the same rhythm and the same mood of the painting and the same integrity of it.
So you need to really just keep going until you start.
Yes, on a large painting, I typically will work 18-hour days and sleep for a while and then go back at it because I need to keep the same rhythm, the same emotion to it. The color palette, I have to know color so well I don't think about that. I'm thinking about the rhythms and what I'm saying with it and the choreography of it and that sort of thing. So this one didn't take terribly long, probably a couple of days. But again, there's lots of hours per day.
Sure. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. So, Kay, here we have a pair of art pieces that you've done, totally different in, well, of course, the formatting and is all very similar, but the colors are just so wonderful.
Well, the rhythms of these pieces are very different too. I actually put both of these canvases on my easel side by side.
So you worked on them together?
On my big easel, yes. And so these were painted together, and so that I meant for them to be hung together. Although they could be separated out, but they really are a diptych. And
oh yeah, you do see the movement,
and you see the strokes are just fun, free, kind of almost whimsical.
Perfect. Good.
And love my work.
Children love your work. Yeah.
Yes, if you give them the go ahead and let them see whatever they see and get really creative and imagine, use their imagination with it, they will. I've seen 6-year-olds stand in front of my art and debate with one another about what's in the painting.
What are you seeing here?
And then come to me and say, "Would you please tell?" So,
and you say, "Nope."
You're both. Both is good.
You're both right.
No
It's
problem.
awesome. But yeah, I love these swoops. I love that. And so you do that with a knife.
A brush never touches my abstract expressionism except to sign it, and then later to put a coat of varnish on it. But it is 100% palette knife. And like I said, no changes or corrections, but 100% palette knife.
Okay. Tell me about this work here. We're in an upstairs bedroom.
Well, I chose it to go in this bedroom because the realtor had a black and white comforter on the bed initially, and this matched. I went with the idea of matching with that.
Yeah. Well, color coordinating, and you want to consider that when you're buying art as well, right?
Right. Well, it's easier to find a sofa to go with a piece of art you like than it is to find a piece of art that you like that you've already got the sofa.
Right.
So I always recommend that people buy the art. You can always change the color of the wall. So buy the art that you love and then decorate around it.
Yeah. Okay, you want to know what I'm seeing?
What do you see? This is fun.
I'm seeing a rooster.
Okay.
Awakening everyone like the smoke alarm that's going out here. I love it, though. I love it. I love how that pop of color is just like, yeah.
I had an art critic from New York City one time ask me how I decided where to put a little pop of color, which I sometimes do. I said, because that's what needed to be there.
Yeah, why did you put it there? Well, it needed to be there.
That was my answer.
I love it. So here's another piece.
Yes, and you'll see each one has its own mood, its own rhythms, its own color palette.
How do you decide on the size you're going to paint?
Just feels right.
Okay.
Sometimes it's because I'm going to be shipping to a show. Many years ago, an expert in art suggested that I quit doing the smaller ones. But a lot of my collectors like smaller ones to go in a specific space.
Sure.
And so, but if you'll see, it has to have a little bit of a different rhythm to it than the larger pieces, because I can't choreograph in the paint so much.
Sure. But still, the movement is there.
There's some movement, but in the larger pieces, I'm sometimes choreographing in the paint, or like creating a musical piece or something. Okay, see, it's very different.
Yeah, very different. Though, of course, that color just so vibrant and beautiful. So, what were you thinking? What were you feeling? Because you tell me the whole genre of art that you're doing has a lot to do with your emotion and your feelings.
It has to do with my emotional experience of something, but that's very private. So from my standpoint, I respect you, the viewer, and your right to have your own experience with the art. So I don't typically even name my abstract expressionist pieces because I don't want to direct you in terms of what you should see or not see or what you should feel when you're in front of my painting. So, and a lot of abstract expressionists do try to direct people, it's more of an activist kind of thing. Mine, if anything, is mutual respect. So I had my experience with it when I was painting it. Thereafter, I am superfluous to your experience. And so it's all about you, the viewer, and your experience with the art.
Amazing.
When you view the glass half full, the little things become magical. Like kicking back and sharing laughs, spread good vibes, and they'll come back. Celebrate what you love with what you wear. Even if we're good and super soft tees that spark smiles and connectivity. 10% of profits go to help kids heal. So choose optimism and make the magic real. Visit lifeisgood.com.
Stay with us. There's music ahead with Reverend Nathon Dees. And Elizabeth Riley has your Act Locally news coming up on the Ann Harder Show.
Escape into fitness with the Schwinn IC4 bike, providing a premium, heart-pumping indoor cycling experience that combines digital connectivity with superior Schwinn quality. The IC4's smooth, quiet ride features magnetic resistance with 100 micro-adjustable resistance levels. Escape the everyday with the Schwinn IC4 bike, your ticket to a life well lived.
Secret. I travel internationally every year. I struggle with insomnia both at home and especially in hotels. When I saw something called Fly Kit, what it promotes is there are herbal supplements to take that help you get your circadian rhythm reset into a new time zone. This was life-changing. It's called Fly Kit. I got 2 programs of it. My favorite aspect of the Fly Kit is it tells you when to sleep.
So all you have to do is tap your popple to the back of someone's phone, like that, and they instantly get your social media and contact info right on their screen. They don't need an app or a popple to receive your info. With our feature called Popple Direct, you can pop one of your links directly. I turned Direct on for Instagram. Now when I pop someone's phone, it opens directly to my Instagram. So get your popple today and start impressing everyone you meet. Make it pop.
Waco Civic Theater's performance of To Kill a Mockingbird is showing September 4th. There will be a benefit performance on September 5th in which Waco Civic is joining with Greater Waco Legal Services for an evening of theater that explores the impact of justice on stage. With shows through the 14th, there's plenty of time to get in and get your tickets to this phenomenal story. On August 26th, the Cooper House is hosting a nonprofit network social hour from 4:30 to 6 p.m. Come join other nonprofit professionals for light snacks, refreshments, and networking. On August 28th through August 31st, Waco Parks and Rec is hosting lifeguard certification and recertification courses. If you can pass the swim skills test, you're eligible to enroll. You can find more information on their website. I'm Elizabeth Riley with Act Locally Waco, and I will see you next time.
So many rules in our society, things that you can't do even though you're free. Folks get all bent out of shape when you cross the line. Well, I paid my dues, I got the right to choose. So if I want to smoke some weed or drink some booze, you better take a number and just get in line. 'Cause I'm a drunk, I'm a stoner, but I'm a veteran and I'm a loner. But I cut my grass and I pay my bills on time. Well, I'm a saint, I'm a sinner, I'm a loser, and I'm a winner. You live your life and I live mine. I ain't got nothing against the common man, but I never was good at fitting in, and I pushed the limits, everything I could. So if I want to smoke a joint or two and play guitar all night and drink ice cold brew, I'm just making folks happy and feeling good. 'Cause I'm a drunk, I'm a stoner, but I'm a veteran and I'm a loner. And I cut my grass and I pay my bills on time. Well, I'm a saint, I'm a sinner, I'm a loser, and I'm a winner. You live your life and I'll live mine. a drunk, I'm a stoner, but I'm a veteran and I'm a loner. And I cut my grass and I pay my bills on time. 'Cause I'm a saint, I'm a sinner, I'm a loser, and I'm a winner. You live your life and I'll live mine. 'Cause I'm a drunk, I'm a stoner, but I'm a veteran and I'm a loner. And I cut my grass and pay my bills on time. Well, I'm a saint, I'm a sinner, I'm a loser, and I'm a winner. You live your life and I'll live mine.
Revive Superfood Smoothies. Pill, pour, blend, and enjoy. All within the comfort of my own home.
Revive Superfood Smoothies. Peel, blend, and enjoy. Fast and easy, and I'm out the door.
The 4-burner, side sear burner with Clearview glass stainless steel grill from Monument Grills. Made of tempered glass, which is strong, insulated, and allows you to check your grilling without lifting the lid. Our porcelain-coated cast iron cooking grids offer a large cooking surface of 513.3 square inches, primary cooking area, with even heat cooking. The Monument Grills include LED control knobs and are easy to light with pilotless electronic ignition. Better grilling, better value, Monument Grills.
Hi, my name's Erica and today I'm going to be taking you through my skincare routine using the Tasmanian Spring Water range from Sand and Sky. This range is really good for dry and dehydrated skin like myself. It's packed with 2 types of hyaluronic acid and fermented sea kelp to reduce redness and irritation, which I experience daily. So that's it. It's so quick and so easy, and my skin feels so dewy and so hydrated.
And welcome back. I'm with Kay Griffith of Kay Griffith Fine Art, an internationally recognized artist. You specialize in
abstract expressionism.
Abstract expressionism, and I'm learning all these terms. Let's talk a little bit more in depth about that. So how does that differ from, say, what Monet did? That's abstract impressionism. Is that correct?
Well, he did a lot of impressionism and abstract impressionism.
And then there's pointillism,
right?
Where you have the little tiny points,
right?
Yeah.
So you can go everywhere from seeing a scene and want to replicate every detail and create the illusion of 3-dimensional space on a flat surface.
A photograph.
Then, yes, and so then that's realism, and whether or not you're doing it with little dots like pointillism or with tight brushes, that is that's realism. And then you can, if you just want the impression of it, then you loosen up a little bit with the strokes and you don't put all the detail in there. And keep in mind, I did not go to an art institute. So this is just my personal thing here in terms of definitions. I do not claim any authority from any institution.
Sounds like you could patent it if you wanted to.
From any institution. So the Monet's water lilies are probably the most well-known abstract impressionism, because up close, if you go to a museum and you see them in person, up close they're very abstract. If you back up from them, you see
it comes in focus.
Yes. So that is abstract impressionism. I paint the experience of something minus the objects. So each of mine has its own color palette, its own set of rhythms, its own mood, its own light play, and
color combination, obviously, all those things.
And I try to maintain all of that for a given painting. So no two are ever alike.
Yeah.
But in my abstract impression or expressionism is different than most of what you see. There are a lot of artists who will be throwing paint, dripping paint.
You hear about that. Yeah, I see.
You hear a lot about that.
In
terms of
elephants painting with their trunk.
Right. For contemporary. So there's a lot of people who will spin art, or they'll throw paint, drip paint, do whatever, and call it abstract expressionism. Mine is not that. I am deliberately putting the paint where it needs to go. I can't make any changes or corrections. Most abstract expressionism is done with acrylic. Mine is all professional grade oil paint. So I'm painting wet into wet. Sometimes I'm mixing on the canvas. Sometimes I'm laying it in hard enough to stick, but not hard enough to blend. I'm not blending, so the colors don't blend. But it's all very deliberately placed. And there's a rhythm in my head, and I'm working a color palette and a rhythm in my head. Sometimes I'm choreographing the paint. Sometimes it's more like, various things depending on the painting. Occasionally I'll paint something that's inspired by something else. You know, what's going on, or somebody's mood.
Yeah.
I painted a friend's cancer one time.
Did you? Now you say you don't have music on.
Not when I'm painting abstract
because
expressionism.
You say then you would begin to reflect the music as opposed to what you're hearing in your head. Emotion.
I can listen to music if I'm painting a realistic painting.
Okay.
If I'm painting abstract expressionism, no music, because I'm listening to the rhythm in my head. If I have music on, I'll find myself painting to the rhythm of the music, and that has to do with the stroke in which the paint is applied is the rhythm. And so I you know.
Okay, I mean, I
do have one painting that is, you know, if it's painted to a rhythm. I had one little painting that I did a long time ago that's Rhapsody in Blue, and I made sure I had Rhapsody in Blue.
Yeah, hearing it right now in my head. Yeah.
Yes, and so I played it over and over on a loop while I was painting the painting. So, but by and large, no, I don't want music on because I'm listening to the rhythm in my head.
Well, we talked about women artists and the kind of challenges that they face, which I never really thought about that being a thing, but apparently it is. So tell me what kinds of challenges you have faced as a female artist or have heard of.
Well, first of all, it depends on at what level you're painting, because you can have a career where you're selling locally, you know, and
people love your art, they collect your art,
right? And so that you can do it. Most artists develop their career in concentric circles, and they go out and they do shows they can stay at home and eat at home and visit with friends, and you know, it's
just live their life,
right? Live their life. And so and I don't have a problem with that. That's a fun thing to do, and they make a little bit of money and they enjoy the art, and so be it. What I find once you get to a certain point, then there are a lot of challenges.
And you found yourself at that point in 2012.
My art,
you just
what happened was
way up a notch.
For several years, I always said I will go wherever my art takes me. So doors opened, they availed themselves, and I had to walk through it. So I put the art out there. The art was well received, won all kinds of things. So I just followed the art where the art took me.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's what happened. And then in 2017, I was told that that I was in the creme de la creme internationally, but one of the problems I had was that a lot of people didn't know who I was at the international level because I was not traveling to all the shows. So that becomes a challenge in terms of paying for all the travel expenses and shipping and so forth, etc. So there's a lot of international business issues that you don't have to deal with if you're showing locally. Okay, so for women, along the way, I've learned, I'm no longer a neophyte in this world, is that I've read, I have not verified it, but I've read and heard in some speeches that less than 3% of the art currently in museums is by female artists. So, you know,
that's stunning.
Yeah, you know, why is that? So I started thinking about that. Why is it? Is it that women's art's inferior? Is it that they don't put it out there? Why is it? I was baffled, and I still to some degree am baffled by it. I really don't have an answer for that. But the women's art at auction or at the level I am historically brings a lot less money than their male counterpart. So, like, if you have a gadget or a gadget that you're selling, you can say, well, I'm not going to sell it to you unless I get I get parity, I get the same amount of money as this person over here, kind of thing, or in some kind of service thing. In art, it's a little bit different because somebody has to like it and be willing to pay. And
so, how do you go about pricing?
Well, it's not by the square inch, I can tell you that.
Or by the amount of time you spend on a given work?
It's not. A lot of artists, beginning artists, will do it by the square inch, and there's a lot of professional artists who do that.
I did not know that. I thought you were just making a joke.
No. There is an art conservator / appraiser that I worked with for a number of years, and I'd approached a gallery one time, and the gallery owner hung up the phone, and she said, there's no way that your art would be that inexpensive and have the accolades on this resume you sent me. And I was like, oh, wake up call. And so I called this person, and he said, what are you selling them for? And I told him, and he said, oh,
not enough.
That's a fraction of what it should be.
Oh, wow.
So, so I raised my prices commensurate with where he said they needed to be. But there's challenges with whatever you do with that.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, the male artist with the same resume will command a higher price for a similar painting. Why that is, I am not sure. So from my standpoint, I think it's like you need to cover up the name, put them out there, and get them, so that nobody knows.
Yeah. That's
nobody knows if I'm the one that painted it or somebody else painted it.
Yeah.
I don't have an answer for that, Ann. I really don't.
Read a quote, I think you may have shared it on your Instagram page, that works of art are windows to worlds that only the soul can see.
That was a quote that I had read. I did not originate
said Ella
that.
Fontanals.
Yes, she is an art.
Who was credited with saying that.
She is an art critic and researches artists a lot. And she is the one who said that. And that has to do with abstract expressionism, because abstract expressionism historically addresses something that touches people deep within them, even if they don't know what it is. They are touched, they're moved. There are people who stood in front of some of my paintings who started crying. Some people have started laughing, joking, just enjoying it. But it runs the gamut in terms of the emotional response. And there's no rhyme or reason as to what it is that triggers that. It's something about the painting that goes beyond the paint that's on that canvas, and it touches people deep within them. And that's why I put that quote, because it really is true, is that in some way, I have my experience with it when I'm putting it on the canvas, but I've seen that over the years, is that people standing in front of an abstract expressionist painting oftentimes will connect with it in a way that they don't even fully understand.
Just at a very deep level.
Yes. So in that way, sometimes I don't try to analyze that, except that there is some deep understanding of humanity deep within human beings that is very difficult to analyze. It's kind of like saying we're spiritual beings that live in a physical body. You're aware of that, but how do you prove it?
Yeah.
And so it's a similar kind of thing, I think.
It is fascinating. It's always so educational for me to talk to artists and hear about their creative process and what they go through, and something like this high level of art exhibition that you've been blessed with, I mean, truly, in your career as an artist. Of course, Salado is where you've been.
It's home base.
That is home base for you, and it is such an enclave of artists.
Yes.
Salado is unique. It's just my bias. I love Salado.
Salado is unique.
Yeah.
The location is not going anywhere. And I serve on the Cultural Arts District Board, and I would tell you that anything that's ever needed water who came through this area stopped off at Salado Creek.
Yeah.
And for respite, cool water,
Of course, the Chisholm Trail goes right through there, so yeah.
Well, and the stage stop and anything that needed water stopped there.
Yeah.
So human beings would stop and they would bring their musical instruments, whether or not it was a harmonica or a guitar,
fiddle,
or
whatever.
yes, or sing. They would tell their stories. They would write, sit under a tree and listening to Salado Creek babble along. It's watch the deer or the hawk above. It has always been a place of that sort of respite for humanity, and it still serves that in a large capacity. But artists along the way, whether or not it's vocalists or painters or sculptors or potters, jewelry makers, novelists, we have novelists who live here. So it has been a gathering place for creative people. And a lot of times people are not aware of that fully because everybody's kind of doing their own thing. But it really is a gathering place for all these creatives. And the purpose of the Cultural Arts District is to promote that of all the art.
Now, you no longer have a brick and mortar art gallery?
That's correct.
So how do people find your art?
They can go online. They can email me. I will send them photographs. I'll be happy to meet them.
Do you do commission work for people?
I do commission work with realism. With abstract expressionism, not so
much.
No, because it's too emotional.
Right.
I mean,
It's
I
too
can't.
unique to you at the moment.
Yes, and I have to be in the moment. So, sometimes I'll have people say, "Well, I want a painting that's exactly like that, but I want the colors changed, or I want the size changed. It needs to be exactly like that, and it's an abstract expressionist piece." And it's like, I can't do that.
I can't do that.
I can't do that. Sorry, it doesn't work that way. So, I mean, it's kind of the thing about why did you pick these colors? Well, because they needed to be there.
Yeah, right. Why did that old rooster go in there? Because he needed to be there.
That's exactly what.
That's just my take on it. Oh, well, it has been so much fun to walk around with you and see your art and to get to visit with you and know you better.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. I appreciate you taking the time.
Stay with us. There's more of the show ahead.
Deer Valley, where innovative comfort solutions, smart toilets, kitchen solutions, Deer Valley, stylish living, savvy savings.
We've brought the show on the road, and I am in my happy place. That would be Salado, Texas. Salado is quite the enclave for artists. And I have a famous artist here with me, Becky Conles. And Becky, you just do amazing, remarkable work. We're surrounded by your cork, you call it cork art,
cork art,
right? Well, how did you get involved in doing these beautiful buildings?
Well, it started with actually COVID.
Really?
Yeah.
So that recent, you've started building these.
Yeah. It started with COVID. I was bored like everybody else. And I thought, well, what can I do just to pass some time? So I started with wine corks, and I thought I'll make a birdhouse. And I made a couple birdhouses, and then it just kind of graduated. I thought, I'll do real houses.
Well, and they are. And so as you see behind us, this is Main Street in Salado, the Barton House. Of course, I come to Salado. I love Salado. you know, this
Mhm.
is a dream now that you're living in my dream location. So how long have you been in Salado, you and your husband, Jack?
The end of 2018.
Okay, so not that long, really.
Yeah, not
Where did you
long.
move from?
Highland Village, up north of the DFW airport.
Okay, all right. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome to Central Texas and to Salado. And so you got bored during COVID, decided to start. Had you built, you know, intricate models like this? Let's talk about this one first. What
the
is
Nature
this
Company? Yeah, let me see. Let's see. I started doing the insides of some of them
you've
too.
even like a dollhouse. You've decorated like
exactly.
a dollhouse.
Yeah,
that's beautiful. So the first one you said you did some birdhouses, and the first house you did was what?
Well, the first house I did, actually, it's not here. I did a Bow's Barn. And then actually the first house, I take it back. You know, the first house I built was for my granddaughter.
Oh.
I built her a dollhouse, but it was a big dollhouse.
Really?
You know, yeah.
So do you find a pattern? I mean, how do you design your architectural? I mean, how do you do this? I'm just fascinated.
Sometimes I don't know. It's I start out I figure out what I'm going to build. When I first started building these, I would use like boxes from the craft store and kind of puzzle them together. And then I actually got like a little with a bandsaw and everything. So now what I do is I figure out what I'm building, and I'll build, cut the wood to the shape that I want, and I don't measure.
Well, you're an artist.
Well,
I mean, really,
who knew?
But who knew? But the roof of that particular building, it looks like tin, like a metal roof.
Yeah, it's not. It's.
But you painted it to make it.
I painted it, and then one trick I learned to get the rust on there is you put glue, and then you put cinnamon.
Oh.
Or nutmeg or something like that to get the actual kind of look.
That tinge of age to it. Beautiful. And okay, so then next to that, we'll just kind of work our way down.
Okay.
That is McCain's.
McCain's.
And we're on, is that on Main Street too?
Yeah.
I'm trying to picture where that is in my mind.
Let me see. I don't know, but Lynette, owned McCain's.
Okay.
So yeah, it's been around a long time.
And so this is cork. I mean, but it looks for the world like Austin stone. It looks like stone. How did you figure out how to do that, and where do you get the corks?
Well, the cork, I cut them. They're all individually cut.
Okay.
And I use a Cutco knife. And then I have graduated up. I have a really cute little table saw now that, that helps a lot, but I still have to do a lot of cutting. And as far as the corks, I have friends and family that all of a sudden they show up on my doorstep
with a bag of corks.
Yes,
I can bring you a few. But the fact that they're kind of shaded, there's like differences in the colors, which I guess is just natural part of cork.
I use different corks. It depends on the building. Like Barton House, I tried to use a lot of the lighter color corks.
Thank you so much, Becky Conles, for allowing us into your home. Thanks for being with us. Join me tomorrow when we meet the brand new executive director at Meals on Wheels Waco. You have a great day.